Alright, so what it is, what's up? It's your boy Corrosive, and I'm back at it, to play a little bit of Mega Bonk, and I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I'm here to talk to y'all about, current events, what's been going on right now. Um, and shoot, honestly, I don't know how to start this conversation, or I'll start this conversation off with the topic of unity. I feel like unity is really important right now in the current climate of just the world because everybody's trying to go up. Everybody's trying to evolve and adapt to our changing times. You know what I mean? And what exactly do I mean? If you look around everywhere, you see old things being turned into completely new things, and the classic ways of life are kind of like fading away. Going away into obscurity. Um, with I feel like with unity, with harmony, I feel like we can change that. What do I mean? Well, if I stick to just the United States of America right now, if you just think about current events that just happened recently, we just had that shootout in Texas. A lot of stuff coming out, especially if you pay attention to specific sides. It's currently a lot of Muslim activity going on and a lot of weird, shady stuff going on with the left wing. Why does that pertain to unity, you might ask? Well, it's kind of looking like a little bit of an invasion strategy on the leftist side. You know what I mean? There's a different people in the pockets of the left side. You know what I mean? And I feel like that is a detriment to our unity, right? And to bring it back to unity, right? I feel like if we were to bring it back to olden times, right? America used to be based off of one nation under God, right? And obviously it's predominantly the Judeo-Christian God, and it's that God's leniency, right? I feel like that leniency has been taken for granted as time progressed, and actually been muddied too, to fit the needs of other interests. Again, as I could bring up the leftist side, who, if you bring up the last election, the last presidency, let a gajillion people in who did not share our values to then circumvent and cheat the American way of life, right? Why am I talking about unity? What about unity? What about unity can we bring forward in today? Well, I feel like no matter what kind of an American you are, no matter if you're a black, white, or blue-collar worker, no matter if you are black, white, brown, yellow, we're all a part of the same team here, folks. And I feel like that concept in and of itself is getting lost as time progresses, It is my belief that there are too many teams, way too many teams, right? And that generates an us versus them mentality. And this mentality is a detriment to our unity, to our overall growth. Why is that? Well, it's obvious. If we do not see each other on the same team, then we won't be likely to help each other in the best interest of the team, which is a global team, which is the American team, right, guys? I'm gonna get off of the American scene, and I'm gonna go globally now. Domains. Why are domains important? Well, domains, like space, is a sign of respect. I won't cross into your domain unless invited. I won't invade your domain unless you give me permission. And I feel like nowadays domains have been encroached upon by either dangerous ideologies or even people who carry those ideologies to do whatever they so choose. And you're gonna wonder, Corrosive, what are you talking about? Again, look at Texas. They just had a guy with a radical Muslim ideology shoot up the block. You know what I'm saying? You have governors in that same location taking money from people with the same ideologies. You know what I'm saying? Are those the ideologies that we want to take over in America? Because they're only going to grow out so long as we allow them. And this isn't just in America. If you talk about, if you were going to look at Europe, these places were being taken over by open immigration. And now look, the whole ideology of the area is now being changed. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's no respect to the domain. You can't say the place is the same place. anymore because it's being aggressively changed. And people who are trying to prevent that change are being threatened. If I was to bring it back to Texas, there's a lady right now trying to run for, I think, the governor of Texas, and she's being threatened. What's up with that? And the crazy thing about it is all these Muslim people who are coming by, they're a bunch of, you know, they're raping people. Is that who we're gonna allow into our country? Again, if I was gonna bring it to New York is trying to ban dogs. Why are we gonna ban dogs? That made me think of the movie, I think it was called The Election, or maybe, no, it was called The Campaign, right? And it was a comedy. And a part of the comedy, the guy, there's this white dude, right? Old white dude. And he's walking to like a convenience store or like a grocery store. And he sees a dog walk by. And he says, "Get an American dog, you commie?" Well, that ideology is now completely lost. Because of what? Like, is it the changing times? I get acceptance. I get allowing everybody to be a part of the group, right? But if they are trying to disrupt the group and make everybody fight amongst themselves while they bolster their numbers, then what are we? We are putting the clown makeup on. We are being deceived. And then we are going to be taken over, right? I said it in my last series video where I talked to you guys about political stuff, right? That if the left would have won that entire election and they got reelected this year, we would have died in a whisper and not in a scream. It makes me irritated to hear that Kamala Harris can still run for presidency when she was the person in charge of the border in the last election. And y'all see what she did. She was the main person letting all these people inside. And you're talking about, okay, we're gonna let her go for 2028? That's insane to me. But again, if going back to the domains, I went on a little bit of a tangent here. The reason why domains are important, because if you respect everybody's space, so this could potentially be how we unite as a planet, as a species. So long as, again, we don't have like aggressive ideologies that want to take over and be the only ideology allowed. Then there's no freedom of thought, and just like how people are trying to censor the internet right now, that doesn't work, right? Because if I'm not allowed to speak freely, how can we honestly say we can have an honest conversation? That it'll literally be impossible. But yeah, continuing with the whole domain conversation, right? Imagine we all respect each other's spaces. We all understand we are here to elevate not just our group as in our countries, but then we elevate the planet. How far can we go as a united species instead of just a united country, a united state? You know what I'm saying? A united world sounds insane. We could be planetary. We have the technology to shoot things out of the sky from space. What does that mean for us in the overall grand scheme of things if we unite all of our brains, all of our smart minds, not just from one location, but from every location, not in an objective to get the upper hand of one another, but to hold hands and to uplift each other. Unity. What is unity? I feel like these words have been forgotten as time progresses, but we can only get that if we respect the domain. We respect the space of each other. There was kind of like this ancient, it was like an old thing. It's like the old world stuff where when you crossed into someone else's kingdom, there was like landmarkers, almost like totems, to show that you're in a new space and to show it with respect, right? Almost like you walk into someone's house, you gotta take your shoes off. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's time for us to realize when we're talking about the global scheme of things, when we enter into someone's space, we need to take our shoes off. And I feel like, especially if I go back to the US stuff, because that's predominantly what I know well, they haven't taken their shoes off, they're just trying to kick down doors. You know what I'm saying? Again, New York is trying to ban dogs. I feel like everybody has a dog for their own reason, right? You either have a dog as a pet or as a form of protection, right? What happens when they make it hard for you to protect yourself out there? And you have groups out here whose religion is made it okay to harm somebody who thinks differently, right? then they just take over, and they have this belief system that it's okay because somebody higher up says it's okay. I'm gonna, and then okay, and then so we're talking about unity. We're talking about elevation. We're talking about improving each other as not just as a nation but as a world, right? And we got cheaters left and right, but there are businesses out here struggling to make ends meet. There are homes out here struggling to meet ends meet. Yet we have, if I was just to speak about the United States specifically, we have bunch of groups of people in leftist states that are misusing our tax money, getting not billions, but like thousands and thousands of dollars to run like not orphanages, what are they, child care centers with no children in them, getting these like 2-3-story houses with that they just live in for free and get checks every day because they say their kids in it, but they ain't no kids in it. You know what I'm saying? Like this, we have cheaters, right? And I understand having to, those systems are in place to help groups that are actually generally trying to help the community. But when these things aren't even in every state, they're only in specific states, and they're being used as a scheme, not even to help the community, but to help themselves, I feel like that's disgusting, and it needs to be nipped at the butt immediately. And if it's from a specific group of people, then maybe those specific group of people need to be shown the door, right? Because they're cheating not only their state, but they're cheating everybody, you know? And it goes right back to the global issue, where if more of these people are allowed to vet into certain areas, then they don't just cheat a specific country, they cheat the world, because they're allowed to be these lazy people who do nothing but yet benefit from everybody else's hard work. You know what I mean? It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. I'm sorry, I'm having to collect my thoughts here, because as you learn information, right, you want to just try your best to hit all the points, all the notes, right? But you end up losing yourself in the storm. So, and as I feel we are navigating ourselves through this storm of change, this storm of trickery, I feel, again, the only way I feel like we can really tackle these things together is through unity. As I talk about all these things, invasions, usurping of ideas, ideologies, and ways of life, I pose this question to you guys: how do you defend it, right? Well, it's clear to me that we first have to defend those who defend those things, like our soldiers and our blue lives. I personally have my own qualms with blue lives, especially when you bring up laws like Jim Crow. Certain laws just don't favor, aren't equal, so it gets irritating. But at the same time, we have to understand that if we do not protect those who protect us, then what will happen when those people who are defenders, who are fighters, are prevented from fighting the good fight, right? Especially not even from afar, but from the homestead. Again, I gotta keep it to America, because that's what I know best, right? It makes me angry to hear that defenders, the police, are being bombarded by the communities that they're supposed to protect. You know what I mean? And in my mind, how are they supposed to do their job efficiently, effectively, if the people that they're supposed to guard, safe rail, are attacking them in the streets? You know what I'm saying? You have all these riots. You can go to Europe. You could go to England and see how bad it was when the blue lives over there switched on their own communities, protecting the rapists that were messing with all the little kids in the area, and the little kids had to arm themselves. What happens when we let that stuff overwhelm our states? You know what I'm saying? Shit gets wicked. I'm gonna be plain and simple. Shit gets wicked. So all I'm saying is that we need to let these people who are supposed to be the shield protect what they're supposed to be protecting. Our liberty, our lives, and the things that we love. Plain and simple. I don't think you should be weakening their abilities. And especially in times like this, I think you should be enabling them. Especially when you see how bad the riots get, where they be setting stuff on fire. Especially when you see how radical ideologies are rampant everywhere, and people are shooting it up for no reason. You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to move forward in a society and you're trying to elevate a, a society, a species, I feel like peace, unity is key. And again, how are we supposed to do that if we're all fighting different teams? And we're forgetting that we're all part of that one big team, that one big team that matters. Because if that one big team falls, we all fall with it. That's, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, yo, I'm just leave off with this. With unity, hand to hand together, we can elevate not just our country, but the world to a better place. Maybe we can even crack down on universal basic income to where no one has to worry about maybe even potentially 50% of the average cost of everyday living, to where they can spend their lives doing something more than just working every day. Yeah, my name is Corrosive, and this has just been a dose of a conversation. Have a good, blessed day, and goodbye.